You're a business owner, you have a small company or large company, but you always find it takes a lot of time to have a new hires and train them, and they right aligned with your core values, culture of your company. You are not alone. I have an expert outsourcing consultant and expert with me, Dustin McKay. Welcome, Dustin.
Thanks, Bashir. I'm glad to be here.
Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
So about 9 years ago, I started a software company. And at first, it was really rocky. I hired 3 different programmers that all, scammed me in different ways from a bunch of different countries. And so I went and I talked to a business coach of mine, and he said, okay, here's how you hire people properly. And so we started hiring better and better people. And we were growing this business. I grew it from nothing to high 7 figures in less than a year and a half. And at one point, we were hiring so many people, but we were also firing so many people. And I sat down with him and I said, look, he became my business partner. I said, how much is this costing us? We're hiring a lot of people and not a lot of them turn out to be great. We fire so many of them after a month. And we sat down and we figured that we were spending over $500,000 just hiring and training the wrong people. And realizing how much money we were losing, it gave us the drive or the passion to say, okay, how do we figure out how to find the best people overseas to help us build our company without having to hire 5 people just to find one that's good? And so that's kind of how we got started in outsourcing. After I sold the software company, I really wanted to do something that made an impact for entrepreneurs. And I wanted to help other entrepreneurs have the freedom that I have to travel the world and to really enjoy a company that is run by very competent people. And so outsourcing was the way that I was able to build my last company. And so that's naturally where I went.
What are top 3 secrets, 3 mistakes to avoid? Let me start again. What are top 3 mistakes to avoid?
The biggest 3 mistakes that I see people make: first, they hire family members, and family is wonderful. And if you want a good relationship and you want to support your family, just give them money. Don't involve them in your business. So that's not mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 is, I would say, don't fall in love with the first person you interview. When I first started, as soon as I interviewed somebody, I was like, oh, they sound great. And I would hire them. And it was always a disappointment. Now I make sure I interview a lot of people before I start making a decision. And I would say the third biggest mistake is don't forget to do background checks. Every entrepreneur, they're in a rush, but I'm telling you, hiring the wrong person and not doing that background check is going to cost you way more time than going through the hassle and arranging a background check with somebody's manager and really asking those deep probing questions.
And one more?
Well, those are my 3. Family, interview multiple people, and background check. So those are my 3 mistakes that I see people make the most common.
What is your greatest failure story, and what did you learn, and how did you recover from it?
So, I've got a lot of failures, but one of my biggest failures, I think, was that I would send people money before they had done work. And I've learned that that's not how you stay safe from people scamming you. So now I set up very clear expectations and very clear milestones, and then I only send the money once I'm satisfied that they have fully done what they agreed to do originally.
What are your top 3 success secrets and that other can follow?
The number 1 success secret is find great people. If you find great people, you don't have to manage as much and you don't have to work as hard. So that's number 1. The second success story I would say is invest in those people. When you find somebody great and you're willing to give them books to read and give them coaching and show that you care about them as a person, they will thrive and they will flourish. And then the third is invest in yourself. Don't be afraid to take a percentage of the profits from your business and pay for conferences, pay for coaches, pay for consultants, pay for books, pay for all those things that give you the knowledge that you need to really succeed in your business.
What is the most impactful business book you read, and what did you learn from it?
So, I mean, I've read so many impactful books. One of them, though, that comes to mind is Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. Now, I want to tell you that I read that book when I was already very successful in business. I had just sold my company for high 7 figures, and I realized as soon as I got that money that I was empty inside and that I had no purpose and I had no passion and I had no desire. And one of the neat things that Viktor Frankl talks about is sometimes in life, we think the goal is something in front of us, and really it's 90 degrees to the right. And so when I sold my business, my goal was I'm going to start another business and I'm going to make $100 million in that business and I'm going to employ 10,000 people. That didn't really motivate me. And so after reading his book, I realized really what I want to do is I want to help 100 entrepreneurs become millionaires, and I want to help 10,000 families become self-sufficient. And that's the impact that I was looking for. It wasn't actually a financial goal. I already had the money, and that didn't make me happy. I still have money, and it's not the thing that brings happiness. It's helping others and serving others.
We are entering a quick questions and quick answers round. Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
What do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for somebody who eases other people's burdens. I want to be remembered as somebody who feeds the hungry and houses the homeless and is giving and kind.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
That is a good question. I have a few different strategies that I use. One, I pray. You know, that's one of the ways that I overcome challenges. But once I'm done praying, I go to work and I start reading. And what's interesting is if I have a big challenge, I can go through 5 or 6 books in a week. And sometimes I'll get 2 or 3 chapters in and I'll be like, no, this isn't the right book. And I put it aside. And then I go for another book and I put it aside. But I really start, a challenge for me is usually a situation where I don't have enough information to make a good choice. If I already know what decision I have to make, even hard decisions, it's easy. If I have to close a part of my business, or I have to let somebody go, or I have to make an investment, if I know that's what I need to do, it's easy. It's when I don't know what to do. And so then I just go and start looking for information. Wherever I can, I'll talk to people. A lot of people are really private with their challenges. I'm not. If I'm struggling with something, I will tell everybody I know until somebody says, oh, I have the solution for you. And so that's how I overcome challenges.
Once you have a revenue generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
So my significant other is my business partner. My wife basically lets me do what I want in business. I've proved myself. She's happy. But my business partner, the way that it normally works is I will go and I will start prototyping. And I will get far enough in the process that I can show, the main assumptions have been proved out. And once I can show that, like, my big assumptions have been proved to be true, then we can look at how do we scale that, how do we put a team behind it, and how do we drive that forward to success.
What do you want to do when you grow up?
I want to go sail around the world. That's what I'm getting ready for. That's my next big adventure. I probably will get my pilot's license at some point. And, if things go well, maybe I'll take one of Elon Musk's rocket to Mars. But for now, I'm just looking forward to sailing around the world.
What is your living mentor? Sorry, who is your living mentor, and what is the impact they left on you?
So I have a lot of mentors that are living. My biggest is obviously my dad. And I know everybody says that, but my dad had he has the emotional intelligence and wisdom to teach me to learn and to grow and to never be satisfied with who I was when I started. And for me, that's a really huge thing. And that's a huge, part of who I am. Some of the other mentors I have, Russell Brunson from the ClickFunnels community. He's always giving, always educating. I love that. My business partner in a lot of ways is one of my mentors. He's always giving. He's always learning. He's 10 years older than me and a little further down that path. I have a lot of mentors, both alive and dead, but the living ones, I would say, my dad ranks up there pretty high. And then there's a lot of just amazing entrepreneurs that I've had the opportunity to interact with and learn from.
What are you grateful for today?
I am grateful for health. It's really interesting. You can have, and anybody who's, especially mental health. Physical health is good, but mental health is, that is the gold. And anybody that's had a struggle through depression or anxiety or any of those mental health issues that seem to plague our society, they know that when things are good, they can be really good. And you learn to just appreciate what makes you happy and go for the joy.
How do you start your day?
I normally start with a 30-minute meditation breathing exercise, and I do it in the shower, which I know is silly. I sit cross-legged in the shower. I do my meditation. I do my visualization. And then when I wake up, when I get out of the shower, I get dressed, and then I wake up all of my family, and we do a daily scripture study and devotional and prayers, and then I come straight to work after that. Yeah, that's my morning.
Why is being impactful important to you?
I think if any of us was on a canoe or a boat and we saw somebody drowning, we wouldn't be the best version of humans if we didn't reach out and try saving that person, even at risk to ourselves. And I think impact is that ability. It's the ability to look out to our brothers and sisters all over the world and say, hey, I have an advantage. Whether I'm in a boat or it's a financial advantage or whatever, and I want to reach out and I want to lift you up. I had somebody once send me a letter, and she said to me, because I work for your company, I am the first person in my family who owns their own land and owns their own house. And for me, that's what it's about. It's about moving people forward to where they're in a better position to help themselves and help their communities.
Who is your ideal client?
My ideal client is an entrepreneur that is either transitioning from solopreneur to entrepreneur, or somebody who's looking to really scale and grow their businesses. I love helping entrepreneurs right at that stage where they've proved an idea, they know that it works, but there's just too much work for them to do, and they can't keep up, but they can't afford a full-time, American or Canadian or whatever person. And so they're really looking for what is the opportunity, where's the sort of shortcut, if you will, to success. And I love that because when I come in and help them, I give them freedom. That's when they are no longer bound to their business so tightly, because there's other people carrying that weight and carrying that burden and getting things done.
What is the advice you would give to your younger yourself?
Buy more Bitcoin. No, I think the advice I'd give to myself is to be more, how do I say this? More hopeful in the future and less content with the present. I feel like sometimes I would settle out of fear of the future. And as I've seen the future unfold, and it's so much better than anything that I would have anticipated, I realized sometimes I would drag my feet a little bit out of fear. Now I've learned I'd much rather fail from having tried too hard than having, not tried hard enough.
What would you say about your guest experience on the show today?
Oh, I love it. I enjoy it. It's a good show. I love talking to entrepreneurs, and so to me, this is where I shine and what I enjoy doing.
How can we support you?
If anybody wants to come to my site, expertoutsourcingsecrets.com, yeah, it's linked below, expertoutsourcingsecrets.com. You can book a free call with me or a member of my team, and we can really go deep into your business and look at, are you even ready to start outsourcing? And if you are ready to outsource, then what's the strategy you should be following?
What would you say as a final word?
Have joy in the journey. Sometimes as entrepreneurs, we get so caught up in all of the problems that we forget that this really is as good as life gets. Business is the opportunity for us to live our best selves and to become our best selves. We learn leadership, we learn how to serve, we learn how to build ourselves and build other people. And if you can't find that in your business, you need to look for it. That's what I'd say.
Thank you so much, Dustin, for your time and wisdom with us today. On the
Thank you
behalf
for
of
having me.
on the behalf of Entrepreneur Empowerment Club and our entire team, I'm signing off. See you next time with another guest. Thank you. Bye bye.